In this video, I show how I changed my Tsovet Global Explorer from this watch to this watch. I got this Tsovet for my Watch Gang Platinum in April 2021. I'll put up a link to the unboxing video in case you missed it. You can probably pick up in the video that I wasn't entirely satisfied with this watch. Like I do with any new watch, I wore it for a week and I thought about it. I decided that I like the bezel, and I like the case, and I like the bracelet, but I don't like the dial. I didn't like the dial because it doesn't have a calendar ring for minutes, so you can't see exactly where the minutes are, which makes it difficult to set the time exactly. The watch dial also has a circular opening for the date, and I didn't like that. I prefer a rectangular opening for the date. The circular opening just didn't look right. Also, I had really been wanting an orange watch, so I thought I could solve all these problems at once with a new dial. I went on eBay and found myself a replacement dial to put in the watch. Here you see I'm opening the back of the watch. I thought it would be interesting to show how the oscillating weight winds the mainspring. So this is a little bit of me just moving the oscillating weight so you can see the winding of the mainspring. To get the Seiko NH35 movement out, you have to push down on this one little button that lets the stem out. Then you can just pull the whole thing out because it doesn't have any case screws. It's held in by compression and has a little plastic retaining ring. Now I'm moving the hands into a position where I can pull them off. I put a little plastic bag piece over the face of the dial to protect it, and then I got my little levers out and I popped off the hands. I actually like these hands and I wanted to keep them and reuse them. The NH35 also doesn't have screws for the dial feet. The dial is just held on by pressure, so you just have to pry it off carefully so you don't scratch anything. Here's the replacement dial I bought, and it actually came set up so that you could either have the winding stem at 3 o'clock or at 4 o'clock depending on the style of the case. I'm pointing out here where the watch feet were on my original dial. You can see 4 of them on the replacement, so I have to use my nippers to cut off 2 and leave only the ones that are in the same place as the original dial. I then had to use a file to make them flush with the back of the dial. I don't show that on camera, but you can see me using Rodico to make sure I got all the filings off before I put it back together. Now it's set up so that it has dial feet to put the winding stem where this case is set up at 3 o'clock, and I can put it onto the movement. It went on just fine, but I immediately started to get suspicious because the diameter of the new dial was smaller than the original one. I put it in the case with the orange dial, and I could immediately see that it is too small. The case needs a dial that's 32 millimeters wide, and the orange dial is only about 30 millimeters, so it doesn't fit. I had to order a different dial to make this watch work, but I really like that orange one, so I saved it. In fact, I ordered a new movement, case, and hands so that I could build a watch around that orange dial. I'll be showing that process in another video, but you can see the results of it on my Instagram. I'll put a link in the description. For now in this video, I just had to put everything aside while I waited for the mail order to come in with the replacement dial. I couldn't get an orange one that was in the 32 millimeter size, so I found one that had the calendar ring markings that I wanted, as well as a rectangular date opening. I wanted it to have some color, so I got one with orange markings for the hours. Overall, I really like it. It's a little more understated than what I wanted. I like something flashy, but it works with the case and hands. There it goes on. It just friction fits, remember? Before I put the hands on, I'm going to put it in the case to test fit it. Here I'm fitting it into the case and making sure that everything fits properly, just so I don't have any surprises later on. I put the stem back in and the movement ring on, and it all fits great. Then I have to take it all back apart again so I can put the hands on. To properly align the hands, I have to turn the stem so that it's just past midnight and the date's just turned over. Then I can put the hour hand on at midnight so it properly references the date change. Then I test it to see that it's correct. Okay, now I need to put the minute hand on so that it lines up correctly with the hour hand. Then I test it to make sure that the hands aren't interfering and they stay lined up properly all the way around, and that the date changes over pretty close to midnight. Next step is to get the second hand on. There's a little bit of a hiccup because I didn't realize that I had bent the second hand a tiny bit. As a precaution, I learned to let the second hand run for a full minute to make sure it doesn't hang up on the hands, and in this case it does. It stops because the back end of it was low and was contacting with the minute hand. After adjusting it, I found it stops on the other side because I had slightly bent the second hand. I ended up having to pull everything back off again so I can get the second hand out and flatten it while it was not on the watch face. Here I'm getting the hands lined up again, and I actually got the date change pretty close to midnight this time. Really, the more I do this tiny work, the easier it is. Like anything, practice makes you better. So if you're thinking about getting into working on watches or doing any sort of crafting or mechanical work, you should just get in there and do it. I didn't show taking the bracelet apart on camera, but I'm showing you putting it back together so you can see under the microscope I'm popping the spring bar back in place. I thought I would end with some time lapse showing marking time and not having any problems, and I'm going to show its loom in the dark after it goes for a little while. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, give me a like and a subscribe and maybe even ring the bell. I'm going to have more videos like this coming up. Of course, I will have a video of putting the orange watch together, and I have plans for even more projects. Let me know what you think about this watch redial in the comments. If you like the way I changed it, how would you do it differently? Thanks for watching.